We have a real opportunity with CAP to introduce fairness to farming. I'm not going to go over with you the many years where farmers have been let down. And I'm particularly talking about farmers in Mayo and farmers in the west of Ireland. And, you know, having a minister such as yourself from Donegal, you should really understand what I'm talking about. And I'm really, really concerned about the complete breakdown of trust between farmers and yourself as Minister and the government right at this particular time. That fear is palpable in the farmers that I talk to. And what they're afraid of is obviously the derogation, as was spoken about, and the two-tier farming system that they see coming down the track. Now, if you are saying to them there's nothing to worry about and everything is guaranteed and all of that, you need to tell them, you need to communicate with them, you need to communicate with the INHFA and with others who represent these farmers, who know what they are going through. A derogation isn't a guarantee. See, so you're asking them to trust and to trust into the future. And the farmers with wetlands and peatlands are not going to be left behind. And I tell you what was said to me this evening was, regardless of COVID or restrictions or whatever, you will have farmers marching across this country if something isn't done to relay the fears of the farmers and to provide the guarantee and to give them the respect that they need and that they demand. And it is things like, as was mentioned before, not being able to clean a drain. But we have seen over the years, I mean, the first time when I mentioned in Mayo about people were going to need planning permission to put up a fence, I think people thought I was absolutely crazy. But it very quickly came into fruition. And I want to commend the Rural Independent Group for bringing forward this opportunity for us to talk about these things here this evening. Now, Minister, I need to talk to you about the REAPE scheme, the pilot scheme that is being put forward as we speak, that the planners were briefed on the other day. And the farmers with the commonage and the mountain grassland are being excluded from that. The commonage has been included in all previous agri-environmental schemes. So there cannot be any degrading of payments made on commonage and mountain-type land in the new CAP budget. As part of the Climate Action Plan, there's an effort to designate even more lands and to put even more severe designations and restrictions on them. We cannot allow this to happen. There has been no consultation with farmers about how they will work or what levels of compensation will be paid. There must be serious negotiations carried out between the farming bodies before any designations are done. And farmers must be paid for the lands that has already been designated. Because we're not just talking about designations, as you know, the specific lands that's designated. We're talking about the buffer zones around that. We're talking about the absolute sterilisation of land right along the western seaboard. And we have seen it over the years. Since the original directive, that is what has happened. And it has to be halted and it has to be debated properly. And about 10 years in Mayo, where I come from in Belmullet, in the Mullet Peninsula, a designation for the corncrake happened. Again, without very little consultation with farmers in the area. And the knock-on effect of that has been huge. Farmers are ensuring that they could continue, they were assured at the time that they could continue farming practices as they were. Now they see that their dates for the cutting has been altered and other things have been altered that prevents them from maximising their land. Their land is what they can produce their income from. And I really think, Minister, and I've thought for a long time, that there is a real constitutional issue here of the right to own property, because you have farmers owning this land, so we tell them that they own it. Yes, they cannot use it as a factor of productivity to earn an income from it. The whole issue of planning restrictions due to the designations has had a catastrophic impact on farm families and rural developments. And many landowners now, as you know, they have to produce an environmental impact statement for applying for a dwelling house, an agricultural shed, or even a new fence. How can that make sense? And you are asking for these same farmers to trust that a derogation is going to protect them into the future. They were told that all of the costs would be borne by them, but we see now that all of the costs must be borne by the landowner because the designations they never asked for, they were misled about. The Habitats Directive was designating land. So all the government agencies, they know everything about the designations of land, but they've forgotten the second part of it, conveniently forgotten the second part, where the landowner was to have been compensated for the loss of income or the costs incurred in the designation. That has never happened. That has never happened, and that has caused the trust to break down right along the western seaboard. So if you take REAPE as the way forward, farmers on designated land are receiving no compensation whatsoever for adhering to the restrictions imposed on them because of the designated land. Minister, I'm asking you today to go back, to speak to the INHFA, to listen to them, to talk to the other farming organisations, to talk to the farmers themselves, to repair the trust that has been broken down between government and between the farmers. And I'm afraid, Minister, the buck stops with you. This is your job to fix it. And I'm asking you to do it. I know you're only in the job 6 months, but I really am asking you to fix this. Thank you.